Hi guys, Dr. Jordan here. So excited for the thyroid webinar. Thanks for joining on. We got a few more people jumping on right now before we get rolling. But I'm really excited to launch this program because a lot of you that are on here are on here because you're tired all the time. You have major brain fog. You have gut issues and you're eating better and they're not resolving. And maybe your hair is thinning, your nails are thinning, and you can't lose weight even though you're exercising and eating better. This webinar is for you guys. You're going to get those answers, those questions answered that you've been looking for. So really excited, and I've been able to develop a thyroid system that there's really only 4 causations. People tend to overcomplicate it, but I've been able to simplify it. And personally, having Hashimoto's thyroiditis, I've really learned how to simplify this. So guys, please stay on to the end. I know you're busy, but we have a special bonus offer for anyone that sticks around. And we have a whole thyroid program you guys can download and start to get all the resources that you need to be your own functional medicine doctor. Kind of what we're going to be going over today, my journey of how I reversed Hashimoto's thyroiditis, stopped getting sinus infections, cleared up my skin issues, and I'm going to go over all the steps that I did and the treatments that I found to be effective. And if they're effective for me, I know they're going to work for you. And then again, we're going to go over the 4 causations of all thyroid issues. There's a lot of symptoms out there, but I've narrowed it down to 4 simple causations. And if you can go through those one by one, I promise it's going to make a huge difference. I'm then going to teach you guys how to find your cause. And then I'm going to give you steps on how to treat it. Okay? You can know your problem, but if you don't take action and have a simple to follow program or steps to correct it, you're never going to get the results you want. And then I'm going to answer any common questions that you guys have for me. A little funny about holistic medicine. This guy says we've exhausted all conventional measures. One last desperate option is to put you on an alternative natural medicine that has a 96% success rate. And I found this really funny because a lot of us think the natural stuff doesn't work and maybe we need a medication to get those quick results. But when you do the correct things, natural medicine oftentimes works much better and more quickly than conventional medicine. And a lot of us are brainwashed to thinking our doctor said this is our only option, it's the only thing you can do. And then they give us a 30 or 40% success rate. And I think that's horrible. And really, I would say a lot of the thyroid treatments and protocols that we're going to outline do have a 96% success rate. So the 4 causations that we're going to go over here in a minute is gut imbalances, toxicity issues, adrenal fatigue, and hidden infections your doctor has not tested you for. So we're going to go over each of those 4 things, how to know if it's a problem for you, and exactly how to treat it. But guys, I guarantee you, if you implement these 4 steps 100%, you're going to get better. And all these steps I've outlined, I've done on myself, and I've been able to refine it really for the last 10 years to make each of these steps very simple. And a little bit about me, I'm the founder of the Root Cause Medical Clinic in Tampa, Florida. And we're really trying to lead a holistic movement in my community and start to chip away and change our healthcare. And I was able to overcome Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and I've been on the ABC Morning Blend and a lot of other shows. And a lot of you guys might know who my brother is, Dr. Josh Axe, who owns draxe.com and does all the ancient nutrition, bone broth, protein powders. And me and him both just have a huge mission in the health field to get people better and stop being frustrated, getting pinballed from doctor to doctor. And that's what this webinar is about. And we really have a big mission with treating the thyroid. We want to radically change 100,000 people's lives from start to finish, getting them feeling better, the weight they want, and helping them reach their purpose in life, all by treating the thyroid, guys. It's a big deal. So we have a huge mission. And for the first time in my life, I feel like the most qualified person in America right now to bring this information to you because I went through Hashimoto's. We were able to treat my mom's cancer naturally, reverse her thyroid issues, and get her in the best shape of her life. and as well as treating thousands and thousands of patients at my clinic in Tampa. But for the first time, we've been able to simplify it and put it into some easy follow steps so that you guys at home can do it, right? Spending a lot of money coming into a clinic, we're not going to reach the masses. And that's why I'm so glad you guys are on this webinar. And, it's going to change your life. And that's our mission with the thyroid program. So here's my blood work when I was originally diagnosed. And again, I had this blood work done because I could not figure out what was going on, why I was getting sick all the time, and just felt like crap. So my antibodies were 289 and 101. And this is something my doctor said you can't treat it, right? You have to take the medications the rest of your life, and there's nothing you can do about it. And really, I was having a lot of sinus infections, acne, eczema, couldn't sleep, tired all the time, and just really getting frustrated, going to doctors, getting more medication, and really getting worse and worse. And then these are my lab results a few months later. You can see we got my numbers down from almost 300 down to 85 and 11. And really what I went through now, I think I could get these results a lot faster, but at the time we were still figuring out the right treatments and kind of learning everything. And, really what I did here is I went through those top 4 causations we're about to jump into here in a minute. And that was really getting to treating the gut. That probably got me 40, 50% of the way there. Then I had some toxicity issues I found, was able to get rid of, addressing my stresses and my adrenal glands. And then lastly, there was a couple infections that I found that the doctors hadn't tested me for yet. And that's what really got me 100% of the way there. And then you can see finally my labs were completely normal at the bottom here, 40 and 4 at the bottom of the paper there, which is considered normal. So, and when I went through all this, I probably spent $6,000 on lab work and doctor visits. And was it worth it? Yeah, the money was absolutely worth it. But I knew if we want to reach that 100,000, I'd have to bring it to an online webinar, online program, because people just can't afford that. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of time. And I'm so glad, I've gone through every single treatment myself, simplified it, and put it online so that you guys can get the results at home, the results you guys have been looking for. Many of you are watching because you're frustrated and you think maybe it is your thyroid, but you're not sure, or your doctor said it was normal. So these are some of the main symptoms here on the left. Weight gain that does not respond to diet or exercise, sleep problems, fatigue, hot flashes, maybe you're cold all the time, depression, thinning of the hair, brain fog, and even gut and constipation issues. Now, even if your thyroid's negative, if you have a lot of these symptoms, you at 100% there's an issue with your thyroid. And a lot of times things don't show up on lab work until they're very severe. So you could have mild or moderate and it wouldn't show up on your labs. So again, if you guys have a lot of these symptoms, 100% there's improvements to be made to your thyroid that can radically transform the way that you feel. So why is this a problem? So actually 27 million people suffer from thyroid disease, and compare that to 16 million that suffer from diabetes. So it's a lot more prevalent than diabetes. But why is all the talk about diabetes and we're not focusing on the thyroid? Because that's where a lot of these issues are stemming from. And they found out that only 50% of thyroid disease is actually being diagnosed. And that's why it looks like diabetes is more prevalent, because they're not diagnosing thyroid. The doctors don't have the tools or the treatment for thyroid. It's very simple to test an A1C or insulin levels and figure out that you have diabetes and create a treatment. For the thyroid, our medical system has no clue what to do. And I believe that's why it's an epidemic and people aren't getting better, because what you really have is a thyroid issue and the doctors are not able to find it or treat it properly. And it's become an epidemic because of that. And the other issue is it's causing a lot of other collateral damage in the process. When you have thyroid issues, it plays a major role in obesity, disease, along with weight gain. So really your thyroid is your metabolism. So if your thyroid slows down, your entire body slows down. And that's why you have gut issues like constipation. That's why you're thinning of your hair, because your hair follicles are literally moving slower. If your brain moves slower, you get things like brain fog. Okay, so that's why we're getting so many symptoms and issues with low thyroid. You have a 2 times more likelihood of having a blocked aorta or to have a heart attack. And they actually found that 50% of depression could be caused by undiagnosed thyroid conditions. I've had so many patients, we treated their thyroid, or even just made a simple switch in medications, and all their depression went away just by treating the thyroid. And studies show that autoimmune types, such as like I had, Hashimoto's or Graves', can cause psychosis, seizures, dementia, and even mood changes. So a little bit about the physiology of the thyroid, because I really believe you need to be your own doctor if you want to get long-term results. So I want you to understand how the pituitary thyroid and the entire system works. And if you understand this feedback loop, you can see how it relates to the 4 causations. So let's start from the beginning. Your hypothalamus is your thermostat, your master control center in your brain. And when it senses that you're cold or tired and your thyroid hormone is low, it tells the pituitary to release something called TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. Once thyroid stimulating hormone is released, that literally stimulates your thyroid to make more hormone. And then your thyroid makes that hormone, which is T4. So most doctors are testing TSH and they're testing T4, and that is it. Okay? So TSH, which they're testing, isn't even a thyroid hormone. It's actually a pituitary hormone. So sometimes it's what's around the thyroid, not the thyroid itself. So your thyroid then releases T4 hormone. Okay, and when you take things like Synthroid or levothyroxine, that is just a synthetically made T4 thyroid hormone. Now your body can't use it. So your body takes T4 and it uses certain minerals like selenium. That's why selenium is important for thyroid health. Your liver and your gut take T4 and convert it into T3. Now T3 is your active thyroid hormone. Your body doesn't use T4, it uses T3. And then to top it off, under adrenal fatigue, adrenal issues, your body will convert your T4 into reverse T3, and that will actually block out your thyroid hormones. So guys, just off the bat here, you can see that just by testing TSH, you miss about 6 different steps that can happen to the thyroid. And that's why the doctors aren't treating you properly. It's because they haven't looked at the full picture. You need to look at the hypothalamus, pituitary, TSH, T4, conversion of T4 to T3 in the gut and the liver, and adrenals with the reverse T3. So guys, this is the full picture. And if we can look at the whole thing, that's how you're going to find your root cause. So again, we talked about the gut as the one of the number 1 causations, and that's because of conversion of your thyroid hormone. With pituitary issue, they found out that toxins will block out your pituitary, which we're about to talk about the toxins and how to test for it. And then if you have adrenal issues, which we're about to talk about, you won't convert into the right kind of thyroid hormone. So this is the basics, and it's extremely important to know how the entire chain works, because this is the secret sauce, guys. If we understand this and we treat you off of it, you're going to get the results that you're looking for. Here are some alarming stats about conventional medicine and why it's not working. No studies have ever been published that you have normal thyroid function if your TSH is within the normal lab range. So a lot of times they're saying it should be between 0.5 and 5, when really it should be between 0.5 and 2. So the ranges they're doing on blood work are from an unhealthy population. It's just like saying the average person should weigh 100 to 300 pounds. That's the range in America, but that doesn't mean it's a healthy range. And we've done the same thing with our lab work, and that's why doctors aren't picking up on it. And before 1971, they based patients on their symptoms and off the history they took. And now it's just based off TSH. You're literally nothing more than a number, and that is it, right? A computer could almost treat people the way conventional medicine treats people now. So it's a crazy concept. By taking someone's history and asking them questions and spending time with them, before 1971, they were getting better results, right? Imagine that. And lastly, by the time your blood work shows a positive test, you've had the condition for 10 to 20 years. So a lot of times these things are developing and you're having the symptoms, it just hasn't been there long enough to actually show up on the blood work. So that's why we have to have additional tests and treatments to look deeper. So I think that's kind of startling that it doesn't show up for 10 to 20 years. And that's why it's so important to be preventative. Even if you're feeling good, I have a lot of people that go through these steps just to prevent anything from happening in the future. And I also thought this was absolutely ridiculous. This is contraindications to medications for your thyroid. The first one is untreated suppressed levels of TSH with normal thyroid hormone levels. So if your thyroid hormones are normal, but your TSH is high, then you're technically not supposed to take it. And most doctors don't look at that. The next one is uncorrected adrenal insufficiency. Adrenals is one of the top causes of thyroid issues, and the manufacturers of the medication know that you should get that fixed first because that could be causing your thyroid issue and you may not need medication. But when's the last time your doctor checked your adrenals? Probably never, right? And the last thing is if you're sensitive to any of the chemicals in the thyroid medication. A lot of people are allergic or sensitive to the things that they're actually putting in the medications. So let's jump into the four causes: gut imbalances, toxicity, adrenals, and infections. And let's start with gut imbalances because that is one of the biggest causations, and it's one of the things that made the biggest difference for myself. But again, I've really simplified it down to these four things. So if you can really find these four causations and treat them individually, it's gonna change your life and you're gonna feel so much better at the end of it. So this is a picture of what your gut lining looks like. So you have these tight junctions in here, and when you eat food, these tight junctions allow nutrients to come through into the bloodstream. You can see the red blood cells there flowing through. But what happens from antibiotics, chronic stress, not eating right, the water we drink, it damages the gut lining and allows food particles and toxins and infections to get into the bloodstream. The immune system then freaks out because it's like this isn't supposed to be here. This is some kind of foreign invader. Then you have an immune response. And then over time that can turn into Graves and Hashimoto's because immune is hyperactive. This can cause food intolerances because you're getting food particles in the bloodstream that are not supposed to be there. This is where you absorb nutrients. And then once this cascade of events happens, it causes systemic inflammation in the entire body. So the gut is so important. 80% of your immune system lives here in the gut. And your gut is mostly made of bacteria. So the only way to have a good gut is to have the right bacteria. And the only way to have really a good immune system is to have a good gut. And 80% of thyroid issues are immune related. So it's good bacteria is good gut, good immune system, better thyroid, less inflammation in your body. And that's why it's so, so important to work on the gut because that is your problem 80% of the time. Not solely your problem, but one of the big contributing factors is the gut. So really, how does this happen? Poor diet and stress. And the reason I'm showing this to you guys is because it's so important to treat yourself in the right order. It's not of what you treat, but it's the order in which you treat. So if you understand this cascade of events, you want to treat in the same order that the things happened, right? So it's poor diet and stress that causes a decrease in your immune system and a thinning of the gut protective layer. And then once that layer thins, which we just talked about, you then absorb microbes and pathogens. And you also build up toxins. Over time, that causes systemic inflammation. And systemic inflammation leads to a decrease in your hormones. Your body uses hormones to fight inflammation. So if you chronically have inflammation, you're going to have low hormones. So this is really big, guys. Really pay attention to this because you want to treat yourself in the same order. You need to address diet and stress in the gut first, then the immune system, then removing pathogens and toxins, and then lastly, you want to treat the hormones. Don't treat the hormones first, or you're going to get frustrated and not get the results you're looking for. So this is the timeline of how you want to treat. So how does, autoimmune thyroid work? So normally your thyroid cells are damaged by things like viral infections or gut issues, and your thyroid sends out a stress signal. And so your immune system comes in there to try to save the thyroid from the infections or the attackers. Over time, your thyroid is killed because of this war zone. And eventually the body runs out of resources to rebuild your thyroid, and then your hormones go down. This could take decades or years to happen. So that's why a lot of times doctors aren't finding it early enough and you have so many symptoms because your thyroid's been being damaged for so many years. And the reason I really like to treat the immune system and the thyroid is because most people with one autoimmune disease have another one coming if they don't already have one. So when your immune system attacks your thyroid, it could also attack your gut lining and cause things like Crohn's disease or IBS. Or your immune system could attack the brain and cause things like Alzheimer's or brain fog. Your immune system could also attack your joint lining, and that's rheumatoid arthritis. Or it could attack the nervous system, the myelin sheath, and cause things like multiple sclerosis. So it's extremely important to address the thyroid because when you do, you're also going to help reverse and reduce your risk of autoimmune diseases. All autoimmune diseases have the same causation. It's just your genetics dictate which organ is affected. A lot of us blame everything on our genes. It's not our genes. Our genes maybe dictate which disease we get, but they don't dictate the environment that we created where that disease actually came out. So if you can treat the thyroid, reverse Graves' Hashimoto's, you're going to reduce your risk of other autoimmune disease, and that's why it's so important to treat. And here's my results for H. pylori. I did a stool test. There's really two main steps to treating the gut, and that's going through a nutrition protocol to rebuild the lining in the gut. And one of my favorite treatments is called a GI map test. And in our thyroid program, we actually outline where you can get it done and the exact protocol to go through. But these were my results. I couldn't figure out why I was eating so healthy, still having gut issues, getting bloating, constipated sometimes, and stomach pains. And I did this test, and it came up high for a bacteria in the stomach. And because that bacteria in my stomach caused me to not make enough stomach acid, I actually developed SIBO in my small intestine. And you can see here at the bottom left, these normal bacteria flora are all high. They're all in red. And that's because at the very top, I had H. pylori, 6.3 to the 5th power. And once I figured this out, stopped taking probiotics because that was actually making me worse because of the SIBO. And that's why it's so important to test, because you might be taking something that you think is good for the gut, but actually making it worse. And then I actually did something called ozonated water. I use a lot of ozone and some natural herbs. And 2 months later, you can see my results on the right. H. pylori, completely negative. So just some really cool results. And my immune system got so much better. My thyroid got better just by treating the bacteria in the gut. And this is just one example of a lot of different patterns that can happen in the gut. So really cool results. So the next one, now we talked about gut, let's move into toxicity. Toxicity is huge because toxins will actually trigger your immune system and cause things like autoimmune diseases. And toxins, I call them toothpicks, okay? Because toxins are very much like you have the key to unlock a door, but a toxin's like a toothpick. It gets in the doorknob and you can't use your key. So it's just like hormones. Hormones have to attach to the cell, just like a key, and they have to turn it on. But if that cell is being blocked by a toxin, your thyroid hormones will look normal on your blood work, but the thyroid hormone can't bind to the cell. Again, just like a toothpick getting stuck in a doorknob and you not being able to use the key. And again, this won't show up on blood work. Weight loss resistance. Weight loss And your weight is 100% about your hormones. That's why some people eat twice as much as you do and are losing weight and you're gaining weight. It's all about your hormones. And toxins will block out your hormones and cause weight loss resistance. And lastly, it affects your pituitary and your brain function. If you guys remember earlier, we were talking about the pituitary and how it releases TSH. So a lot of people, it's not specifically a thyroid issue, but it's a pituitary issue causing a thyroid issue. So by addressing toxicity issues, you can get the pituitary working better. So again, guys, so many things going on with the thyroid that doctors aren't treating. I believe a lot of people's issues are related to their thyroid that their doctor hasn't treated properly. So let's go over the thyroid toxic top 5 that you need to start removing from your environment. PCBs and dioxins. Those are mostly from contaminated fish, meat, and dairy. Pesticides, we use that for commercial foods, use them at home. Heavy metals, those are in our environment. They can be found in silver fillings. They can be found in tuna fish, mercury can, and even vaccines now have aluminum adjuvant, which is a heavy metal toxin. And then we can even be passed on from our parents through the birthing process. The fourth one is BPA. That can be found in plastics, cosmetics, dental sealants, and even the linings of metal cans. Halogens, which are also known as goitrogens. Halogens are on the periodic chart on the very right-hand side. And the reason this is important to your thyroid is because iodine is in the same family of chemicals on the periodic chart. So iodine is what your thyroid hormone is made out of. And things like fluoride, chlorine, bromine, which can be found in water, bread, and flame retardants, actually block out iodine, which is what your body needs to make thyroid hormone. So really cool study when it comes to the thyroid. They found that women married to men who use pesticides have almost a 2-fold increase in thyroid disease. Wow, I mean, that is a direct link to toxicity and thyroid issues. So really cool research article that I found on that. A great easy test you can do at home for toxicity is called a VCS test. You can go to vcstest.com, and there's an a fat pad behind your eye, and because your body stores toxins in your fat cells, they'll actually accumulate behind your eye, and they'll cause your eye to not be able to differentiate different shades of gray. And so this test can actually pick up on that. So there's different columns you can see here, and each column picks up on things like heavy metals, environmental toxins, and so forth. So it's a great little test you can do at home to see if toxicity is an issue when it comes to your thyroid and a lot of your symptoms. Another big one is testing for heavy metals. This is actually a urine test, and this patient actually came up high for aluminum, which again you can find in things like vaccines, lead, which used to be in all of our paints, and mercury from dental fillings. And the reason we did this test is because the patient had low TSH. So if you can see on the lab work here, TSH in bold says 0.24. So I noticed that she was having thyroid symptoms, but her brain wasn't telling her thyroid to go. The gas pedal wasn't on. And so I did this heavy metal test and found out this was affecting her brain's function to communicate with her thyroid. We did a specific detox protocol, which we have outlined in our thyroid program, and her TSH went from 0.24 to 4. It went up that amount just by addressing toxicity, 0.24 up to 4. We didn't change her medications. We didn't change anything else except remove these metals from her body. So a huge testimonial to how toxins can really affect your thyroid function. Mold, this is a big one, especially in Florida or places with more humidity. And I was feeling so much better, and I got sinus infections 3 months in a row. Could not figure out what was going on, and actually did this mold test, because mold are actually toxic to the brain, to the thyroid, and to the entire nervous system. And I did this test, and you can see here results: present, present, not present, present. I was positive for 3 different mold toxins, and had actually found it on a rug in my room. Had gotten some water in my room at one point, and it had caused mold to grow on that rug. And once I did this test, I was able to figure out. But mold is a big problem that people are not testing for. And we have a whole section in our thyroid program of exactly all the tests and treatments to run to get rid of mold. But mold, is a big deal. So, there's a test called C4A level on your blood work. You can request that from your doctor to see if you're being exposed. There's another company called Real Time Labs. You can find their website online and get your filter at your home tested for the same mold toxins. So again, if you moved houses and randomly these symptoms came on, start to think about mold and see if you can get one of those tests done. Adrenals, guys, this is one of the biggest causes of thyroid issues that really most, even holistic doctors, don't know how to treat. And adrenals are caused from chronic stress. Now, stress could be emotional, physical, or chemical. So a lot of us know about emotional stress, work, just being crazy busy. But physical stress is one that often gets overlooked. And physical stress could be if you're in chronic pain all the time. Being in pain all the time increases your stress hormone, which is known as cortisol. So, if you're stressed out from an email, you're going to have the same hormonal shift as if you're stressed out from being in pain all the time. So if you're in pain, guys, see a chiropractor, acupuncturist, PT, but see someone that's going to help you get you out of pain naturally. And lastly is chemical. If your thyroid's off, if you have an infection, you have gut inflammation, you have toxicity, all this stuff we've been talking about, that is chemically stressful to your body and will cause adrenal fatigue over time. So really the secret to treating adrenal fatigue, the first step is actually reducing stress on your body. And then once you can have your doctor run a cortisol test, and if your cortisol is high, I would recommend taking herbs that help bring cortisol down. And if your cortisol is low, try to take more herbs that are going to bring cortisol up. So first get that tested by your doctor. But in any case, you should always take adaptogenic herbs like ashwagandha, and that can help your body adapt to all the stress that you have in your life. So adaptogenic herbs would be the best place to start when it comes to your adrenals. And the reason this is so important because it increases cortisol. And I have a little graph here I can show you guys. So this is steroid hormone synthesis. So basically, your body uses cholesterol at the top here to make your hormones. And from there, it gets converted into pregnenolone. And then your body says, hey, what do I need? Do I need progesterone, cortisol, or DHEA? So when you're chronically stressed, your body will make cortisol instead. And because of that, you will then become deficient in progesterone and DHEA, which you need to make estrogen and testosterone. So just by getting your cortisols corrected and your adrenals corrected, you're going to be able to make more estrogen, testosterone, and progesterone. So a lot of times it's not that you have a deficiency, it's the fact that you have an imbalance. So the first step to treating your hormones is by treating your adrenals and your cortisol. And I promise you, you'll start to see your progesterone, testosterone for men, that's a big deal, and estrogen start to come up. And this is what's going to help you lose weight, have more energy, maybe gain muscle mass at the gym for men. But again, it all starts with the cortisol. The last one is infections. This is the fourth causation. And this is a big one that doctors really don't know how to test for. And the first one's viral. Bacteria, fungal, parasites, and even mold. Now, bacterial, doctors are maybe a little bit better at testing for, and really the only treatment for that is antibiotics. Now, the problem is most doctors don't have any effective tests or treatments for viral, fungal, parasites, and mold. So, viruses they found can actually live in the thyroid, and it won't show up on blood work. It'll live in the thyroid, and your immune system will try to kill the virus, and it will damage your thyroid in the process. And most of us know that when you have the flu, that's actually a viral infection. So a lot of people are fatigued all the time because they have a viral infection. So imagine you had a fourth of the flu. So a lot of viruses aren't like the flu where they last a week or two and go away. Some viruses just are there all the time and are just draining your energy just as if you had a fourth of the flu, because you basically have a fourth of a viral infection. So treating those viral infections is extremely important. There's something called monolaurin, and it's found in coconut oil, and it's a natural antiviral, and that's something I recommend for thyroid patients. And bacterial, a lot of people have bacterial infections in the sinuses or in the mouth or in the gut, and doctors aren't testing for, and it's causing systemic inflammation and thyroid issues. Fungal infection, if you have things like athlete's foot or other fungal infections, that will drain your immune system and drain your energy. Parasites, it's important that the GI map test we went over earlier actually tests for things like parasites. And the last thing is mold, which we just talked about. But again, you have to treat these infections. Right? If you're having low iron, your white blood cells are off, it's probably because of an infection that your doctor hasn't treated you for. So don't look over infections. It's one of the top 4 things that's going to drain your energy, throw your hormones off, and throw your thyroid off. So a recap of the things that cause thyroid dysfunction: gut imbalances, toxicity, adrenals, and infections. And it's not just about the thyroid, but I guarantee if you address these 4 things, not only is your thyroid going to get better, you're going to feel better. And if you feel better, you're going to do the things you love, and you're going to reach your purpose in life, and you're going to enjoy living, right? And that's what it's all about. It's not about the thyroid. It's about feeling better and reaching your God-given potential. And that's why I'm so passionate about the thyroid. But the doctors do not know how to treat. They don't know how to test for it, and that's why you're not getting better. But I promise you there's an answer. And for a lot of people, the thyroid is a missing link that they've been looking for. And here's some cool results. I had a patient, and he'd been to 5, 6 other specialists. No one could figure out what's going on. He got diagnosed with Graves' disease. He tried the medications, they didn't work. The one that did work caused him to fall asleep while driving, and he almost died in a car accident. And you can see at the bottom left, his TSH was 4.99, and over here on the right, it dropped to 3. And originally he was shaky. He was sleeping about 3 hours a night. His girlfriend didn't want to be around him anymore because he was so irritable. And so we did some digging, and we found for him that he had 2 different viral infections, parvovirus and cytomegalovirus. And we also found that he had some gut infections. Treated his gut, treated the viral infections, and a couple months later, his thyroid hormones dropped by about 50%, and you can see at the top left, his triglycerides went from 317 all the way down to 108 just by getting to the root cause. So it's just an amazing story. I mean, his relationship with his girlfriend's better now than ever. He's got the job that he wants. He's sleeping about twice as much. And it really changed his life when conventional medicine failed him. Some other cool results. This is a patient that had thyroid nodules. They wanted to do surgery. And you can see here in the top left, her thyroid hormones, her free T3 was low, 1.5, and her thyroid antibodies were elevated, 322. And we actually found she had toxicity issues. So we addressed the toxicity issues, and her antibodies went from 322 all the way down to 243. And then we also found she had a major adrenal issue. She had 5 kids, cooking dinner, homeschooling her kids, and was crazy stressed out. And after we treated the adrenals naturally, we were able to get her thyroid antibodies down to 70. So they started at 322, dropped all the way to 70. And now she has the energy to take care of her kids. She's not have all the anxiety and depression, and she's just doing so much better. And so it's just really cool to see it on the lab work. And you can see here, after we treated the adrenals, not only did the thyroid hormones come up by about 40%, but her cortisol, you can see here in the middle, screen was 21.7, all the way down to 15. There's so much to go over. We could talk for hours and hours. And I'm so excited to finally launch my Thyroid U program, where you're going to get all the resources you need from start to finish to fully treat your thyroid. So we're doing a special limited time offer. And I guarantee you guys, you're going to get the results you need when you address the 4 key components that we just went over. And I really want you guys to picture what your life looks like when you start to address these issues, right? This is a 60 to 90 days to get through a lot of this. And once you treat the thyroid, right, you're going to have more energy. You're going to start to lose weight. Brain fog's going to get better. Your gut's going to work better. Your hormones are going to start to balance. And you're going to prevent diseases like cancer. So think about how you feel right now, right? Tired, fatigued, brain fog. And think about in 90 days from now what you can feel like. And that's why I'm so excited to launch my Thyroid U program. So let's kind of go over what's all entailed in that program. So module 1, we're going to go over how to heal the thyroid through diet, right? What are the right foods to heal the gut, to heal the thyroid? And we have guides for that. We have cookbook, PDFs, shopping list, everything from start to finish to keep it simple. You simply follow it and get the results you're looking for. Module 2, this is probably my favorite module. This has all the testing and supplementation guides. Just for the gut by itself, there's over 100 different imbalances and protocols to do. So you simply do the test and it will help guide you through the correct protocol to do. So that's tests and guides for hormone testing, adrenal testing, gut testing, mold testing, everything you need to do. So module 2 is, hey, we got the diet down. Module 2, let's test to figure out what our root cause is. And then module 3 is really the protocols that we need to do to actually correct it. So first we need to find the root cause. Module 3 is protocols to actually treat the thyroid, the gut, adrenals, etc. So we're going to things like Hashimoto's and Graves' antibody treatments, and I even have guides on how to remove Epstein-Barr virus and different viruses from the body, and test to determine hidden antibody triggers. So again, module 1, the diet for the thyroid. Module 2, let's test and figure out what your problem is. Module number 3, here's the protocols on exactly how to treat it. 4 easy steps. We also have a resources section that have all the question and answers, multiple cookbooks, and we're adding new content monthly. So if you guys jump on this now, the amazing thing is eventually this is going to be an entire functional medicine university from start to finish. So we're constantly upgrading, adding content. So kind of getting in on the ground floor here. You guys are going to get all the added content to come. And then we have a whole education section, 101 guides to all the basics and knowledge. Really, we want you to have all the resources and information so you can treat yourself like a holistic functional medicine doctor would. And I think we've equipped it in this Thyroid U program, everything you need to do, testing and treatment from start to finish. We have custom and guides and supplementation plan. So based on why you have thyroid problems, we put different guides and supplement plans together to simplify. We have weekly video modules to guide you through the material, over 6.5 hours of audio and video content. Sometimes I like to read things, but more often I just like to see a video. It makes more sense to me in video format. And you guys are going to get 3 bonuses just for being on this webinar and for getting signed up for the Thyroid U program tonight. The first bonus is from my brother, Dr. Josh Axe, creator of the bone broth protein. We have his leaky gut cookbook, okay? And that's over $100 value. Expert 2 guide. Dr. Dustin Bukovic, known as the Millennial Doc. We have a thyroid essential oils audio and guide on all the best essential oils that you can start to use to treat the thyroid naturally. Essential oils are really natural medicine, and they can be just as effective, if not more effective, than medication. Bonus number 3, the detox guide by the doctor of detox. Okay, this is a 90-day detox protocol from start to finish, and there's yeah, just a really good resource when you're looking to detox. So that's bonus number 3. That's over $350 just in content on bonuses by itself. We have group training calls, listen to pre-recorded training calls, where we answer some of the most common questions when it comes to thyroid disease. And these are questions you're not going to find this stuff on Google. You're not going to find this information online. And you're going to instant online access, okay, on your phone, on your computer, and it's all online. You can go to one place, get all the information. You have lifetime access. So again, we are constantly upgrading, adding new content, and in a year or two, the same program will be worth thousands of dollars and will be an entire holistic telemedicine program. And again, you guys are getting on that from the ground floor from a fraction of the price. And so it's just a really cool thing to get on board with. And again, it's on your phone, all your resources right at your fingertips. So really, the reason I'm so excited about this program, and you know, our mission is to reach as many people as possible. So, if you order this program, share it with your friends, use it with your family. I don't care, share it. Really, it's not about the money. Our mission is to help as many people, really help as many people as possible. We give care away for free at our office for people that can't afford it, that really want our help. So a lot of the funds for this program go into us upgrading it, adding new content, and helping those that are less fortunate and don't have the funds. So again, all of this is going to go into research, adding new content, and helping others that don't have the funds to get better. So all of this content, we have 3 nutritional food-based thyroid treatments. We have advanced testing blood work tutorials on how to read your own test results, so you can either order that through us, or you can actually ask your doctor that you see to run these tests for you, so that you can figure out what protocols you need to do. And we have supplementation guides based on all the test results. We have special pricing on expensive lab tests, and again, we have advanced protocols to address the top 4 causations of thyroid dysfunction, which is a viral cleanse, gut healing, adrenal healing, and tons of different thyroid protocols. Again, this is information you can't find on Google or anywhere else. So, and then plus you're going to get $350 in bonus material. So the Thyroid U program has all of this plus that bonus material. And we are actually doing a 60-day money back guarantee. So, and that completely covers the duration of the entire program. At any time you're not happy with the program, just ask for your money back, no questions asked. And again, we do that because we're passionate about getting your energy back, getting you feeling back, not taking your money. Okay? Again, all this money goes back into the program and development and helping those are less fortunate. So again, it's not to get your money, it's really to give you the resources and empower you to be your own functional medicine doctor. So, you know, kind of before we end this, I'm going to answer some questions that you guys have, but I really want you to picture these. It's it's difficult to make these life changes and really take a leap of faith and make these changes in your life. And my mom was such a driving force for myself to get healthy again and get my life back. And she had brain fog, fatigued all the time, sick all the time. We found multiple viral infections, anxiety, depressed, had a lot of gut issues, constipation. And for her, she just wanted to be there for her grandchildren. And that was her big driving force. So guys, please write down, why do you want to get healthy? Is it you want to be there for your grandchildren? You want to travel with your spouse because you have more energy? What is it you really want to do? Again, maybe it's just you want to be there for your loved ones. So having a big why is really extremely important. So I'm going to answer some questions you guys have. But this program, the charge is $4.99, but I'm going to offer a special offer to you guys just so that you can get started. We're actually charging $147. We'll give you guys about 30 minutes to jump on that, and then the price goes up to $4.99. And we're really doing that because we want to turn this into an entire telemedicine functional medicine program. So when you purchase this program, you're going to have it for life. Anytime we add things, you're gonna have full access to that. Never pay a dime more. Um, and plus, you're gonna get the $350 in bonuses that come along with that. Because we're just now launching that is why we're giving such a discounted rate. And the second reason is because we all need a little kick in the butt and some motivation to get started. So I want to give you guys a price so good that you couldn't pass it up, because I know once you purchase this program, you're gonna get the results you're looking for. And when you put a little skin in the game and you don't get something for free, you're more likely to use it, right? If you have a free gym membership, it's easy not to go. But if you paid $100 that month, you're probably gonna go and use that gym membership. So I guys want you to commit, get going on the program, and I wanted it to be affordable, so I know everyone watching this can afford it. And split the cost with your friends, your family. If there's someone that wants the program too, and you can split it up 50-50, I'm 100% okay with that. Our goal is not to make money, but to help as many people as possible. So the first question we have is from John, and he said, "How do I know this will work for me? I've tried everything." And that's a really good question. John, the interesting thing about that, everything, a lot of the things I did, I couldn't get results. I went from doctor to doctor, getting worse, and still have my patients. And so we've figured out the things why people run into roadblocks, and they've tried other programs and why they haven't gotten better. So, how do I know this is going to work for me? Well, we've figured out all the things to get you the results that you're looking for. I guarantee you, if you fully go through the 4 steps and all the modules of this program, you will get better. And maybe you feel like you have tried everything. And as long as I've been doing functional medicine, I've had other patients that have seen 5, 10 other holistic functional practitioners and not get the results that they're looking for. So in the Thyroid U program, we bring you through the correct order. So John, you might have done the right treatments, but you didn't do them in the right order. And I believe that's the true difference of why you didn't get the results that you're looking for and why you will get better with the Thyroid U program. And Lynn, she asks, "I've tried every diet. How is this any different?" Okay, so module 1 is the diet part. And that's because you have to eat right for your thyroid type. So a lot of times you're eating healthy, organic, eating a lot of vegetables, but sometimes raw vegetables can cause thyroid issues in some cases. So there's different diets for different conditions, and that's why the first module we have you actually take a test and do some different things, and that will guide you through what diet and what kind of foods you should be eating. So it's not about a diet, it's about using food as a treatment and a tool to correct your thyroid. So again, there's nutrients in your food and there's certain compounds, and we use that in a special order and through different stages to help rebuild the gut and the thyroid. So I've had tons of patients that tried all the diets and didn't get results, but through this program, they were. All right, before we finish up here, we have about 15 more minutes to take advantage of that discounted price. Again, this program goes for $4.99. You guys are going to get it for $147, plus you're going to get all the bonuses, about $350. I have time for one more question before we hop off here, and that's from Beth. She said, "I've had these issues for over 30 years and had my thyroid removed. Is it too late?" And Beth, that's a really good question. And the amazing thing is, a lot of the thyroid doesn't directly have to do with the thyroid gland itself. It has to do with your thyroid hormones getting blocked. It has to do with your thyroid hormones being converted, and it has to do with your thyroid hormones being bound up by the cell. So when you go through this program, it's going to address all of those things, and it's going to address the 4 causations around the thyroid. So these treatments work very, very well with people that have had their thyroid removed as well. So absolutely, it's not too late. It's never too late. Our bodies are amazing. Our bodies can heal. I've seen some amazing things at my clinic, and I know this is going to work for you guys. Again, it's not just about the thyroid. It's about feeling better, looking better, and doing the things that you love to do. And I designed a program around that, and I know it's going to work for you, Beth, and you're going to get the results that you want. So, again, you have to have a big why, and I really want you to visualize 90 days from now what your life is going to look like after going through this program. Whether that's more hair, or being a better weight, or just being in a better mood. Okay? That's what it's about, guys. So thank you so much for joining on this webinar. And we have about 13 more minutes for you guys to take advantage of that discounted rate of 147. And again, feel free to split that with any friends, family, people that you know, so that you can get the results and get going right now. Thanks.
Yep, yep, yep.